Good afternoon, morning, evening, people. Welcome to episode 72 of Freshly Grounded. This episode is with Musa Adnan. Wow, I think this is probably Musa's most, I was going to say most deepest interview yet, but obviously, grammatically, that makes zero sense. So I'm going to go with, this is his deepest episode. What am I even saying? This is his deepest interview yet. Musa goes into things that probably he's never gone into before. It was an amazing episode. I say that in every episode. But the kind of stuff that he goes into is some anxiety that he's gone through, some depression, his relationship with money and money management, his career, his studies, where he's moving forward, why he stopped working with some people in the da'wah scene, what his goals are moving forward, how he feels about the public perception of him, and a bunch of other stuff. Is very, very, very deep. There are times where we're laughing. There's times where he gets a bit emotional. But yeah, an amazing interview. I think you guys are really going to like this one. So without any further ado, this is episode 72 of Fresh. Oh, before I go into it, actually, let's talk about some stuff, because I haven't been doing sponsors and stuff at the beginning of my recent episodes. But I do want to speak about our Patreon memberships. So we have a page called Patreon. So if you go to patreon.com, that's patreon.com/freshly grounded, you can actually sign up and become a patron of Freshly Grounded, which basically means you're like a premium member. Now, the advantages of it is that you get the audio episode one day earlier than everybody else. So the episodes come out on Friday, but you get them on Thursday. That is one advantage of it, but the main advantage of it is that you're able to support Freshly Grounded. It costs about around £5 a month. The reason I say around is because it's in dollars, so it's about $6 or something. But it works out to around between £4 to £5 a month. And essentially, you're supporting Freshly Grounded. You're helping us run. We don't, our equipment and everything was either paid for through our personal money, or it was paid through by businesses that we have. Our space that we use for the podcast, this is the office that Feed Source is run out of. So this is actually the rent of this is paid for by Feed Source, and a bunch of other stuff. We're running Freshly Grounded very organically, and so it's a project that if you guys support, literally every Patreon helps. And if you think, wow, why would my £5 help? I can explain how it would help. An example is, for example, sometimes we have guests who we really want to get on, who will benefit people. And to get those guests, we have to arrange transport for those guests. And so even to be able to get someone from the other side of London to come over here and to help them with their transport, it might cost us literally 20 quid to get them over here, and then 20 quid to go back, and likewise if we're doing that on a regular basis. So these are the little ways where even £5, £10, £15, £20 are actually benefiting Freshly Grounded a lot, because we're able to get on more guests. Not all guests are able to just jump on a train and come to us, and sometimes when we have people who are like students of knowledge and stuff, we feel embarrassed to say to them, look, get a train or get a bus. And so we would have to arrange their transport, or if we can't arrange their transport, then we would have to physically go ourselves to pick them up. Other ways it will help is likewise when we do have these guests, we are able to kind of entertain them better here. Obviously a lot of this stuff we can do, alhamdulillah, Allah has blessed us to be able to do from our personal income. But this is the kind of thing that you guys supporting Freshly Grounded will help. It will help us still carry on getting guests. It will help us be able to support the episodes, support Freshly Grounded. We pay for our hosting to be on iTunes through a company called Libsyn. We pay for, there's a bunch of outgoings of Freshly Grounded. We have to pay for our website servers and stuff. So, as much as alhamdulillah we have always been able to, and inshallah we'll always be able to continue to support Freshly Grounded ourselves personally. It would be nice for Freshly Grounded to be able to stand on its own 2 feet to some extent, so that we can carry on pushing it forward, which would be lovely. So that's the kind of ways in which being a patron really does benefit Freshly Grounded. And your one-off Patreon subscription of a $5, like for example, two patrons will literally pay off the server every month, because a server costs £10 a month. So little things like that do help, but likewise we will always continue Freshly Grounded with or without patrons, because we love to do so, and we'll always pay for our servers and our domains and our travel, etc., for our own pockets if we have to, but that is how it helps. So if you think, wow, I don't really care about getting episode one day early, those are the ways being a patron can really help. And we have some amazing, I know I'm really going on about this, but it's just making me remember that we have some amazing patrons. There's a brother who, he's going to hate me saying his name, but I'm going to, because he's an amazing brother and he listens to the episode. A brother called Kabir, who has been literally, he's been a patron since it started. There's another brother who's a patron who wouldn't want me to say his name, but he's a brother that we're very close with in the UAE. He's been a patron, and these people probably don't actually benefit much from Patreon, but they've been supporting the podcast from the beginning, and it has really helped and really benefited. So jazakallah khair to all of our patrons that we have so far. And if you guys want to jump aboard, head over to Patreon. That's patreon.com/freshly grounded. And some monthly subscriptions. So without any further ado, guys, this is episode 72 of Freshly Grounded. Let's get into it.
And welcome to Freshly Grounded, the brand new podcast by best friends Faisal and Sam.
Huh?
I said welcome to Freshly Grounded,
After that bit.
the brand new podcast
And after that bit?
by best friends Faisal and Sam.
Really?
Yeah, man.
Sorted.
We was with each other last night at
We were.
until like 11 p.m. We was in Iman channel, and now we're back. But we those of you who weren't watching, Musa's tried like crossing his legs, and then he realised it's not working in such a tight environment.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm getting used to it.
So
Comfy. Yeah, sorry guys.
so we were presenting together at Iman channel yesterday,
We were, yeah.
and then now we're here a few hours later. After literally, we just went home to sleep, wake up in the morning, and then we're back here.
Yeah, literally, that's what happened.
Yeah, I was actually thinking yesterday that would have been easier if like you just came mine or something and just stayed there, but it just wouldn't have worked out practically at such a short notice.
I'm very spontaneous.
I am not probably.
I'm very spontaneous. I don't mind doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm really spontaneous.
But then you would have had to wear the same clothes.
Yeah, I don't even mind about that. I'm very adventurous, bro. That's one thing about me. Like, I'm very. We'll get into that. Obviously, I'm sure you'll ask me stuff about whatever. But yeah, I've always been the adventurous type. I
Really?
like. But at the same time, I have two sides to me. When I'm adventurous, I want to be very adventurous, and when I want to chill, I like really just chilling in my bed, TV, chilling.
Well, how I wanted to introduce you to the podcast, is I was going to say, like I'm joined with Musa Adnan, who I know he won't mind me saying this, is in some ways, but I just realised I still got my headphones in.
Your AirPods, yeah, they're so good, man. I got some as well.
Yeah, and you forget that they
just don't
in
notice.
there. Yeah.
Yesterday, I tried to take them out. Me and my wife, when I went to one shop, I had to take them out because I thought it's gonna look rude, even though I could have kept them in the whole day.
Bro, I find it so rude when people talk to me and they got headphones in, and now I'm that guy. And the reason, so I try not to, but they're so easy to keep in.
Yeah.
You can't feel them. They're not like normal headphones. Like you actually, normal headphones, you put them in and you feel like your ears blocked a bit. You don't feel that with them. You can hear like as if you don't have any in.
You get used to it.
And then, but so yesterday I was directing another podcast, and I was there for hours, and I had left my I had left the like holder for my AirPods in the car, and so I had to keep them in my ears the whole time. Like I felt so rude, but I was like, I'm not losing these. I just got them, so I'd rather just keep them in my ears. So I kept them in my ear the whole time, thinking I was so rude. But I thought I can either say to them guys like, "Oh guys, sorry to be rude. I just left my," and explain it, or I thought I'd just leave it. So I didn't say anything, and I probably came across really weird. I didn't want to be like, "Oh, it was just awkward," but yeah. So I find that rude as well. Yeah. Anyway, how I was going to introduce you is I was going to say, and I know he won't mind me saying this, but I'm joined by, in some ways, the most immature person I know, and in other ways, the most mature person I know at the same time.
That's me.
And
definitely. And
the reason I say that is because, look, I think now you haven't actually perhaps got this excuse anymore because you're getting older. How old are you?
22.
22. Okay, you actually don't have that excuse anymore. But when I first met you, which was probably about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Was it about 2 years ago, 3 years ago?
maybe 3 years ago, man.
About 3 years ago. You were actually, obviously,
Yeah,
19.
it was a long time ago.
Yeah, you were 19. And so then you were very young. And so you were very mature for your age. And I think a lot of people have told you that you're very mature for your age.
Yeah.
But then in many ways you're very mature for your age. And then every now and again I used to like when we used to
I've
be around
noticed
each other,
about myself.
I would be like, oh, he is 19, because you would say something or do something that's like, I remember like, oh, I used to be like that when I was like 4 years younger. Like, you know what I mean, bro? Like, so you have this like,
It's
it's a balance maybe, or it's like a perhaps like maybe like a loss of identity, like because you are 19, you sometimes want to be a 19-year-old, and then because you like have been in like the public eye since you were 16 or 15, you like know that you have to represent yourself in a more mature way, and then maybe you've lost your identity. Could you say that? Would you say that's true?
I wouldn't say it's a loss in identity. I'd say that I'm very...
Let me just turn the AC off, but carry on.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I would say I'm very, very diverse. I've noticed that about myself. For example, bro, I'm not joking. Like, I've met people and I've come across people, even online. I've seen there's this new movement going on called minimalism.
Yeah.
And basically, I was...
That's not new.
Okay, to me, it's fairly new. Okay, I came across it fairly recently. And there's this one YouTuber. I really like his stuff. Really nice content. He's got a podcast as well. Forgotten his name. But he was expressing in one of his videos how he wears exactly the same T-shirt, jeans, glasses, everything, every single day. Everything the same every day. He liked one T-shirt and he bought 7 of those and he wears that every day. Same outfit every day. And I was thinking, yeah, that seems really cool. But then the other side of me came out where I thought, no, I couldn't do that because I'm extremely versatile in my head, and I don't think that's a bad thing, and I don't think it's an amazing. I do think it's a good thing actually, because with me, for example, bro, there's days like there's days where I just want to wear like very smart clothes. Like I'm the type of guy that, bro, I would go out with my friends and I wear a suit. I could actually do that. I'm not even joking. I could comfortably do that. And I remember one of my friends, you know him, Hassan, he actually mentioned to me once, he goes, bro, I don't know how you do this. Like, I would go out with him and I would actually wear like a shirt and trousers and stuff. He's like, why'd you do that for? And it was just the way it would make me feel. And then the next day, bro, I could be in a tracksuit. So I've noticed that about myself. I'm very immature sometimes.
To me, it comes across like you haven't figured out your identity.
I did go through that problem.
But do you think that? Do you think that
recently?
But do you think that you're maybe in denial about that?
No, I don't think I'm in denial. I think I went through the problem you're talking about. Definitely, and I can even talk about why I went through that problem. I went through this problem of being unsure of what I want to be, and you know how you feel. You feel like you're going through like a crisis.
Yeah.
You feel like you're going through like, even sometimes I think I felt anxious, and sometimes even maybe a little bit depressed. Like,
right.
Yo, what do I want to do in my life?
Yeah.
You know? Because look, I don't know. Should I give some background about myself?
I think generally people understand. Like, so like
growing up.
Right.
Growing up, I only made it to high school.
Okay. Yes.
Right. Yeah. Year 7, year 8. I was pulled out of high school because my dad thought schools, and he was right, schools in this day and age are very messed up, you know, with the kids, etc. and stuff like that. He didn't want me to go, you know, astray and stuff like that, so he pulled me out of high school. I was homeschooled. Complications happened, family, etc., you know, not going into details. I actually couldn't complete my GCSEs. Later on in life, you know, I went through so many different things. If you want to go into them, we can. You can ask me about them, etc. I'm sure you know of some of them. At 18, I'll go back to college now. And 18, I'm in college. Bear in mind, bro, since the age of like 12, 13, I haven't been around people my age. I have not spent proper time around people my age up until I'm 18. 18, I'm going into college and I'm spending time with people my age. And I really thought to myself, wow, these guys are really immature and childish. Like, I actually thought that to myself. Yeah. Because, bro, there's certain things that they were doing where, yeah, I do have my moments of immaturity. I'll crack an immature joke, a silly joke and stuff like that. I have moments of immaturity, no doubt. I'll poke you and stuff like that. That's immature. Yeah.
But I think we've got the concept of immaturity wrong, because I'm not talking about those things, because I think that even people who are older are like that. Like your dad, I'm not saying your dad specifically. I'm saying like as a person,
Yeah.
whoever it is, your dad can often like have jokes with you when he's 50 and he'll like poke you or whatever, because I think that's normal. When I say immaturity, I mean
I
like
do know what you're talking about. Yeah.
intellectual immaturity.
Yeah, no problem.
Right.
I mean, like,
I'm not saying you're not intellectual, I'm saying you're very intellectual.
the way that I think of things is very naive or very basic or very young. Is that what you're saying? Yeah. So no, I acknowledge that. But what I'm talking about,
I think I have the same issue, by the way. I'm not trying to say like character assassinate you,
No,
but
no,
I
no,
think
no,
that
yeah,
one thing I wanted to do with this episode is I didn't want to. You have so much content out there online, right? So
much,
I don't
yeah.
want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to just like have a chat with you and then it's like something people have never heard. I really wanted to speak to you in a deep way about
I don't mind
yourself.
talking about that, because I know podcasts are more, you share more of yourself, etc. And I'm sharing it for benefit, inshallah, for the sake of Allah. I mean, bro, I'll tell you very honestly, look, from a young age, alhamdulillah, I've traveled. I've seen the world. I've seen Africa, Asia. I've been to different continents. I've traveled so much in Europe. I've traveled all over the world, alhamdulillah. Spoken in front of people in Pakistan. I've done a lot of public speeches in Pakistan, in Africa, all over the world. Majority of the universities here in the UK. But I found myself very recently, and this comes to what you're talking about. I found myself very recently in a predicament where, okay, what do you want to do now? Now you need to settle down a bit. Settle down meaning now you need to choose something. You can't be a jack of all trades for the rest of your life. Oh, he's a YouTuber. Oh, he does things here on the side, and he's a TV presenter sometimes, and he reads books sometimes, and he's also in uni, and he's this and he's that. And I don't want to be like that. I want to have more of a focus, you know? And I think that's important. But for all of my life, I've always been an unfocused person. Definitely, I'm not shy to say that. I've been a person that's lacked a lot of consistency. You've seen that with me and Jim, me and a lot of things. I've lacked, consistency and me aren't the best of friends, So I've lacked a lot of consistency. So recently, I'm talking, bro, last 6 months, I've been going through like a crisis in my head. And that's why people who follow me would know Musa's been really inactive for the last year. Like, compared to how I used to be, bro. Growing up, I was so active. My whole life was online. I was like that. And for the last year, I've been so inactive. And it's just, bro, I came to a stage and I actually went through anxiety. I went through kind of breakdowns and stuff, akhi. Like, speaking very upfront. And it wasn't a deen breakdown. Alhamdulillah, my deen, I know about my deen. Do you get it? Like, no one can really mess with me in terms of deen. Not saying I'm the most knowledgeable guy out there, but I'm saying I've always been well-grounded. In terms of deen, no, I know. I got to pray. I know this. That's not a question for me. Don't even talk to me about that. Like, I know it. But aspects of my life, eating well, what you're going to do in 5 years, what you're going to do in 10 years, things like this. And I've known what I want to do in 10 years. I know that I want to stay in the scene that I'm in, but excelling. And, someone who I used to be very, very associated with is Ali. Ali Dawa. I used to be very associated with him, and the reason I say used to be very associated with him is because recently I had to take a turn. I had to make a decision, bro. I had to think to myself, do I want to stick with what the brothers are doing? And I'm not gonna, it's not a shot thing here, and there's been no personal fallouts or nothing like that, but I actually came to a thought of myself, do I want to stick with what the brothers are doing? Am I comfortable with myself doing that in 5 years? Bro, when I'm 30, do I want to be making YouTube videos and doing what I'm doing now? Or do I want to be doing something much bigger, something much more educated, something much more inspirational for someone my age at that age? And I thought, nah, I don't want to be doing this in 5 years. I don't want to be doing this in 10 years, what I'm doing now. So, Akhi, if my life's like that now, what have I got to do? I've got to change. I've got to change something that I'm doing. I've got to do something. I've got to start getting up and doing something. So I thought to myself, instead of laying around and just doing nothing and just going Iman channel here and there, I've been a TV presenter, presenting on TV, and having 7 days off, because TV schedule is so easy. You've seen my schedule, bro. I'm free all the time. Yeah, alhamdulillah, it's good. You're getting paid and you're free all the time. But bro, like, what do I want to do in 10 years? And I'm sure a lot of young people go through this dilemma. You're doing what you're doing now and you love it, but how do you monetize that for a 10-year scale when you have kids and stuff? How do you not only monetize that, make that a career? How do you make that something that you're going to help people with in 10 years? Do you get what I mean? So I thought to myself, what do I want to do here? And I had a chat with Ali, and I had a chat with, Muhammad Ijab and the brothers, and I said, guys, man, you guys are doing your thing, but I'm going to have to bounce. And it wasn't even a thing. Like, a lot of people think, oh, when you're leaving a certain group of friends, you had a fallout, you must have had a fallout, you have to have a fallout. People think that, right? Like, if you left, for example, what you do right now, if you left Freshly Grounded, people are going to think you fell out with Sam.
People already think that right now.
Okay, exactly. Exactly. The people do not understand that you can make a mature decision to say, you know what, I'm going to part ways here.
Yeah.
Even though I'm making money, even though I'm good in terms of now, but I'm going to part ways here because in 5 years I want to do something bigger and different, and I have that goal. Do you understand?
Yeah.
That's not me saying you're not doing big things. Maybe in 5 years you'll be doing bigger things than me, but maybe that's not what I want to do. Maybe that big thing is not the big thing that I want to do. Do you get what I mean? So I had to think about my life, and I had to think really seriously, Akhi, because I'm 22 now. I had to think really seriously. When I was 18, I could go Africa, and I could go Dubai, and I could spend money, and I could spend $5,000 like that. I could do that, and I've done these things. I've spent ridiculous money. Sometimes, people say that to show off. Akhi, I say that and I feel ashamed because, bro, right now, if I say,
do you not fear that if you say something like that you come across like
arrogant?
That you value it? No, not arrogant. I don't think I wouldn't say for a second that you're arrogant, but I know you. I know you're not arrogant.
Yeah,
and
I'm not.
Shall I tell you what, bro? Shall I tell you?
I've got nothing to. Yeah.
I think one of the reasons, because I know this might sound like I'm like gunning you the whole time, but one of the reasons that I feel like so. Like I sincerely love you as a brother, and I think the reason is because I feel like I can see your like your. I just say I can see your soul. No, I can stuff like I can see your like when you push everything away and like the raw Musa Adnan, and I see that you're a very pure-hearted person, and you're a person who I believe is trying to on the surface of things. You're trying to understand and learn the Quran day by day. I see that you're trying to like live a correct life in the eyes of Allah, and I also see a person who doesn't try and put on a public persona. No, I don't. Yeah. But I've never been like that. But you actually privately. I believe that privately you're also fighting your nafs when no one is there. You also are like have a feel of that. That's what I feel like I can see you, and that's why I feel like I got time for you. Do you know what I mean? Like, not that I'm someone valuable who should have time for people, but I'm saying like, as in, if there's people you just feel like you don't connect with or you can't understand, you just don't really spend time with them because you got other places for your energy, maybe.
Bro, you got to choose your time wisely,
Right, but with that being said, I think that because you're growing up and there's been so much happening around you and moving so fast,
it does leave you confused.
I think that you have had all of this like collateral fallen on top of you, and to find like the true you have to like really move all of that dirt out of the way. And I think that because of that, you've also found yourself doing things in the past maybe that you probably don't think you should have done, or you did. And so my question, one of my questions is that do you regret anything that you have done in the past that you've done in public, or any videos you made or anything like that? Or do you think it's all a learning curve?
No, I mean, I do think it's a learning curve, but I do regret. Yeah. But at the same time, I don't regret. Okay. It's a thing, like, I don't regret because I learned from it. And if I didn't make those mistakes, or if I didn't do those videos or work with those people, I wouldn't be where I am right now, akhi. I wouldn't be where I am right now. Maybe I'd be somewhere else, honestly, yeah? But at the same time, sometimes when you do think about it, I could have been here, akhi. I could have been in the situation that I'm in right now a year ago, maybe. But akhi, like, I shouldn't think like that. I shouldn't be like that.
No, of course.
So I don't regret things, actually. I don't regret things because, bro, if I think about my life, alhamdulillah, everything I've done up until now, I've helped, alhamdulillah, and I'm not shy to say it because I do feel like I get messages about this. I've helped people, alhamdulillah. That's a good thing. I've traveled the world. That's a good thing. I got married at 19. That's a good thing. Alhamdulillah.
But do you?
I've done a
My
lot
point
of
is
things,
this. My
yeah.
point is this: that do you think that if you
Yeah.
do you feel like you right? Do you think that if you didn't mention right, everything that you're saying is so admirable,
Okay.
but I feel like,
Yeah.
and it's so admirable because how young you are, you've done so many amazing things.
Yeah.
Yeah. And most people your age have not done those things.
Yeah, no.
But
yeah.
do you think that it would be like if you didn't mention them, a person would look at you and be like, "Raw, that's amazing." But when a person mentions the things that they've done, and I know that in your head you're mentioning them because you want to inspire others, or you
Yeah.
want, or you're not
No.
saying it from. I'm not bringing arrogance into it, but I'm saying that if
Yeah.
you move silently sometimes,
Yeah.
do you think that someone will? Because bro, if I want to know about you.
Yeah.
Right, the best way for me to get my knowledge of you
Yeah.
is for me to make my own decisions. But if I'm fed my knowledge of you,
Yeah.
then it's it like weakens it, right? And if I'm fed my knowledge of you from you, that really weakens it. So imagine if you like didn't speak about what you had, for example, done, yeah.
Yeah.
And
No,
then
the reason I'm talking about it.
but then
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
I watched your YouTube video.
Yeah.
I watched a YouTube video of you in Convivencia in Africa,
Yeah.
taking hundreds of people shahada,
Yeah, yeah.
bro. I'll be like, you see that Musa Adnan
Yeah.
guy?
Yeah.
Bro, he was in Africa
you're
at
right,
20
yeah.
years
You're
old. But then if you
Yeah.
came back, I'm not saying you did this because I don't know. I'm sure you didn't. Because I've never heard you say this. But I'm saying,
This is
imagine,
the first time. By the way, this is the first time I'm talking about these things.
right,
So comfortably.
right. But I'm saying, imagine.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, if you came back to UK after that Africa trip,
Yeah.
and you said to everyone, bro, when we were in Africa, you know how many hundreds of people were taking their shahada to us. Everyone would be like, it'll be like, oh, that wasn't admirable until you spoke about it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So-
exactly.
so
yeah.
And I'm not talking about now specifically, but I'm saying
There's
the,
a-
the
yeah.
way you are is admirable. But I would say that you don't. Maybe you feel like you should justify yourself sometimes, but you don't need to because you're great.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's I'm mentioning these things as justification because, bro, I'm not mentioning them as bragging because akhi,
I know, but
I haven't made millions of pounds.
Nah, it's bro. You can tell you're not
been to
mentioning about
every
bragging.
country in the world. I have traveled a lot
Right.
for a 22-year-old.
Yeah.
And I've done all the online stuff and I've done TV presenting and all of these things, alhamdulillah. But bro, I don't look at these things like, and I walk down the street and I look at and I think, oh, look at me, you know, like whatnot.
Yeah, I don't believe that's what you think either.
Akhi, like
No.
even bro, like when you started YouTube,
Yeah.
yeah, I got a message from you, like to collaborate in something
Yeah.
and do videos together.
Right.
I don't know if you remember, akhi, but like I was so open to that
Right.
with other brothers, Mahdi, brother. You know, there's another brother called Uthman. Other brothers who are up and coming. I've
Nasir.
always Nasir. You know, when he was starting off, akhi, Nasir's getting more views than me right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But bro, when Nasir was and it's not a thing where like, bro, there's people with more followers than me.
Yeah.
Okay, let me give an example. Ali. When Ali came into the scene, akhi, yeah, bro, Ali was making blunders with his statements. I'm not gonna quote some things he used to say, akhi, but he was so wrong in some things. And he was so like new to the deen when he came first. But look at him now. He's got more followers than I have. By far. He's got more followers than I have. He gets more views than I get. If he wants to travel the world, he can travel the world. Do you get it? So I'm not talking about it in terms of, oh, look at me, I'm so big, I'm so special. It's not that. I'm saying, akhi, this is what I'm trying to say. For me, being through all of that, akhi, and coming to an age of 22, and then trying to be a normal person, normal as in trying to have a normal career, trying to think, okay, what am I going to feed my kids in 10 years and things? Because these are normal problems. Thinking all of these things, akhi,
Yeah,
it's
that's admirable.
overwhelming, man.
That's admirable that
but
you're saying that.
The only reason I'm mentioning it is overwhelming, and I
Right.
found it overwhelming. That's why I'm not shy to say, guys, I went through anxiety. I went through like, not crazy depression, but like moments where I feel really sad.
Yeah.
Like moments where I felt really lost in terms of, not in terms of deen. I'm there in terms of deen. I know about the deen, but in terms of, yo, man, like I'm a bit unsure about my life. Like, yeah, it's all good and well. Like, akhi, my dad's so blunt with me. Like, last night, my dad was like, yeah, you've done all of this stuff, but now what? Like, who cares? My dad was talking to me last night, and he was saying, like, who cares?
After we went home.
Yeah, after I went home, my dad was like, you know, my dad's very blunt with me. Like, now what do you want to make of your life? Do you get it? You can keep talking about, oh, I traveled the world. And so, who cares? Do you get it? Like, but by the time that you finish talking about that, everyone else would have traveled the world. Do you get what I mean? So it's not special. So Anyway, the reason I mentioned that is not to show off. It's not to be arrogant. There's many things. You've had people on here probably that are more wealthier than me, that are more better looking, that are better in terms of their all of these sort of things, even in terms of knowledge, akhi. So it's not that I'm trying to show off, but it's just saying that going through all of these things at such a tender age, because bro, shall I stop?
Yeah,
Okay. Going through all of these things, bro, I'm sure you'll agree, at such a young age, and then coming to the realization that, Musa, you need to do certain things to change, to be where you want to be in 10 years, bro, that can be really like shocking for someone like me. Do you get what I mean? Yeah. Like that can be really shocking. And that's what I went through. I went through shock.
Yeah.
I went through like, yo man, like, what do I want to do in 10 years? How am I going to feed my... And I've said this a lot, but like, do you want to know what I done after? Or
after what?
After I went through these thoughts.
But
like,
I used to...
solution.
Okay, you have... Because you said you were still going through that. Like you said over the past couple months.
I've stopped now.
Okay.
I've stopped now. And now I'm in the stage where I'm coming back up. Alhamdulillah. And that's because, bro, I thought about what I want to do. And I thought, okay, for example, I want to give da'wah in the future. Okay. Inshallah. And I want to give it on a big scale, Mufti Menk scale. Not in terms of viewership. Bro, viewership comes from Allah. That's from Allah, you know. I'm talking about in terms of persona. You know, I've spent time with Mufti Menk.
How you come across?
Level. Sorry?
How you come across?
How you come across, how you are, your tarbiyah, your purification, how you are at that age. Do you get what I mean? What you're doing. So it's not about people. If at that age, I'm getting 5,000 views, or a couple hundred people in the masjid listening to me and whatnot, I'm happy with that. But it's about where I want to be. Do you get it? With Allah, with my studies, with education, with my wife, with my family. How I want my father to look at me. I want my father to feel proud of me. I want my father to feel like his son done something. You know? Do you get it? So that's how I want to be. It's not about people, bro. Thousands of views aren't gonna get you success. You know? It's not about that. It's about where you want to be, you know. So what I chose to do is study. Alhamdulillah, I chose to study. So I mean, this is an exclusive. I haven't really mentioned this on my platforms, but I chose to go uni, and alhamdulillah, I've been accepted into uni.
Well, that's amazing. What? So you're gonna go this year?
I'm going this year. I'm starting next week.
Oh, subhanallah.
I'm starting on Monday or
what
Tuesday.
Is it that you're
my
studying?
History, inshallah. What my dad done.
Wow.
So I started.
That's
uni,
amazing, bro.
And I spoke to people. Akhi, I wasn't sure what I want to do in uni. Like this is Faisal, bro. You don't understand the dilemma here. People go through this dilemma. What do I want to do? I have interest, but what do I want to do? Akhi, you know what I was thinking? I was getting so like, bro, you get overwhelmed. You start thinking, bro, I wanted to go Medina University. I want to go Medina University. I want to go Riyadh. Shall I go Egypt? I had an opportunity to go Kuwait. Shall I go Kuwait? It's fully paid for. I don't know. Shall I do that? Shall I go uni here? But I have to feed my wife and I have to look after my family. My grandma's suffering from this. I don't want to go abroad far from her. But Medina University is really good though. But this, but that. And you're basically going through like a whole whirlwind in your mind and you don't know what you want to do. Do you understand what I'm saying? And that's what I went through. My dad sat me down. My dad said, look, da'wah is what you want to be doing. Knowledge is what you want to have, right? You can study here. You can study on a personal level. You can, and I don't want to get into too much of what I'm doing with my Islamic studies because I'd rather keep some things private, you know? But Quran is what I'm looking to study, inshallah, was what I'm trying to study. You had Ustad Jamal on, you know, he's someone I really look up to and stuff like that. Quran, studying Islam, that's in my personal time, and on a secular level, studying history, inshallah. I'd like to excel in that. And history as a topic, bro, it's an amazing topic. It's something I'm extremely interested in. I was reading a book on the way here. It's in my pocket. It's called The Cross and the Crescent by a guy called Richard Fletcher.
Yeah.
And
about Christianity.
He's a historian. Have you heard of it?
No, I have heard of it only a few days ago since I saw it on your story.
Oh, okay, yeah. So basically, it's a comparison between Muslims and Christians. It's very interesting. So, and I spoke to my dad, and I was like, history. You know, how important is history? And to put into context, bro, every single Islamic scholar, if you think of them, your Ibn Kathir, your Ibn al-Athir, your Ibn Taymiyyah, all of these great people that we get our deen from, bro. We literally get our deen from these people. They were all historians. They all knew of history. They were all historians. in their own fields. Do you get what I mean? So I chose to go into that because history is like a lesson. What people, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala even expresses to us in the Quran that how he talks to us historically, what he done with the people of Ad, the people of Thamud, all of these people that were great people in terms of dunya, but what happened to them? Haman, Fir'aun. In Surah Ankabut, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala expresses to us how, you know, he destroyed Fir'aun, Haman, Qarun, all of these people, and how he destroys them. And these were people that were successful in terms of dunya. So, but don't get twisted. I'm not saying I don't want to be successful in terms of dunya. I want to be successful in terms of dunya, but I'm talking about that's not all.
Right.
You get it? I
Yeah.
want to educate myself. So I chose to, you know, study history.
Are you going
At
to be
the same
studying
time-
open university, or are you going to be actually going to
No,
uni?
going to uni. I'm not going to say which uni, but I'm going to uni.
Go on, no joking. Bro, I think that is very inspiring to hear that. I think
Yeah.
but back to my point that I said earlier, I think that what makes that more inspiring is that nobody knew, and it's beautiful to see that you were doing something without feeling the need to tell people, because sometimes
Can I come in right here? Sorry.
yeah.
I'm not going to tell people as well. I'm only saying it on here. And if you know, you know. It's like that. I'm not going to
I'm not saying, but I'm not saying don't tell anyone. But look, even the things that I was saying before,
I
yeah,
don't intend to.
you have to bear in mind that I fall through a lot of the same things, and I get very excited about things. I want to tell people about the things when they're happening or before they happen and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But I think we have to bear in mind that if we take like history as a precedent, if you are constantly telling people your plans, the problem is that you can believe in your own plans so much, but and you might actually be intending to make those plans happen, but Allah hasn't written for those plans to happen for you, right?
Yeah.
So if you're constantly telling people your plans and then they don't happen, the first time, all right, fine. The second time, all right, fine. Eventually, what's going to happen is that your integrity is going to get lost, because it's like, oh, he's always saying something, but he never really does it. And so, that goes back to the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which I don't know word for word, but paraphrasing, basically saying, if you have plans, keep them a secret, right? And the explanation for that is so apparent in experience, in our own experiences and experience of people of the past, that it's so much nicer for me as your friend to see. For you to just come to me like, bro, I enrolled in uni. It's like, wow, like he went and did that, and I'm proud. Do you know what I mean? I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, he's gonna go and get like increase his knowledge. I think academia. I've been quoted to say like loads of bad things about academia, but I equally think that academia is amazing in many ways.
Yeah.
And so, but if you had just come to me and said, bro, I'm thinking about going to uni,
Yeah, I didn't do that. I didn't really do that.
until you did it, I'll just be like, all right, cool, because this is what we always do as people. We're always saying things, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. And so I personally think that it's always better to move in silence.
Akhi, with uni, yeah. Let me give you context here, yeah. The reason now uni is such a big thing for me, and I mean, if you want me to say, I could say how I got in, you know. But Akhi, it's such a big achievement for me, alhamdulillah, that I'm so happy with myself that I've done that, because, bro, for me, it's focus now. Now I'm gonna be focused for a number of years on a specific topic, studying it, increasing my reading, increasing my writing, increasing my education. After that, while doing that, alhamdulillah, I'm studying other things, some of them which you know, some of them which you don't know. What things that I want to pursue, and there are things, you know, that I'm doing I would not want to share online, etc. And uni, I'm only sharing here. You know, I'd like to keep these things very secretive, etc. You know,
You're trying to say that we don't get that many listeners, bro? Because
no. I'm not trying to say that. But akhi, like, bro, education for me, I think there's two types of education, right? There's education that's career based, so people go into education like what my wife done. She went into education to get a job. You know, what people do, you know, they go into criminology. For like you, and you know, you can get a job, you know, you can work in the police force and stuff like that and whatnot.
You could be a criminal.
You could with a degree in criminology, you can do that stuff. And I never wanted to do that, by the way. Wow. I'm not discrediting people that are doing that. In terms of getting a doctorate to work as a doctor to make money, I don't understand the logic in that, because bro, you can make much more money outside of doing that. yeah, in business, etc. You've been an entrepreneur for some time, etc. And you're good, alhamdulillah. I mean, you're eating right and you're living. Do you get what I mean? So you can eat, you know, without doing all of that. And you can even be like, the most wealthiest of people I know are not people that have become wealthy through going to uni and getting a career through uni. The wealthiest of people I know.
I think it's good to. I think on the contrary that it's very good to be able to go to university to, for example,
To get a job?
Right.
Here's my perspective on that.
Like if you want to be a dentist.
To each their own, right?
Right.
Everyone has their perspective on things. My perspective on it is, Akhi, one of my friends, one of my close friends, should I mention his name? I'll mention his name. His name's Qasim, yeah? Now, he had the choice when he was younger to either go uni, okay, and get education and get a job, or he had the choice to go into business and work. So he finished college and he had the choice. Should I go uni and spend those years doing that, or should I spend those years building my business, and by the time people are coming out of uni, I could be really successful. And Akhi, Allahumma barik, that guy done really well.
But
yeah?
I agree with you. I agree with you because my brother did the same thing, exact same story. But
Exactly, look.
but entrepreneurship isn't for everyone, is what I'm saying.
It's not for everyone. I understand that.
It's very
But
hard.
I'm talking about from my perspective. If
Okay,
I
I
wanted
understand.
money, I would not go uni.
Oh, I understand.
My
I understand.
perspective. I'm not saying that's what you should do.
Right.
Bro,
right.
like,
no, that makes sense.
If you're into nursing, Akhi, you're into nursing, you're into child nursing, you're a sister, these are good careers for sisters.
right,
yeah?
I understand now.
And you want to do that.
Right.
Fam, I'm not saying launch your own like business and start doing
Right.
nursing in your own way.
You're
I'm
saying
not
that for
that.
you, if you were
For
money
me,
orientated,
yeah.
you wouldn't go and get a doctorate. You would
No
maybe
way.
start a business. That
I
makes
would
sense.
not do
Okay,
that.
okay.
I would do what I'm doing right now, and
Fair.
I'll focus on it, and I'll be big online,
Fair enough.
be a social media influencer, and really make money through that. There's good money in that, yeah, as you know,
Yeah.
yeah. But
I don't know. I'm not finding it.
but yeah,
You've chosen to do history,
for education,
right? I think that's
Yeah.
admirable.
for education,
Yeah.
And when I went into the interview, and I spoke to the guy, I'm normally like, I try and be humble, you know, I try and keep things humble, alhamdulillah, like, and I know that's a really arrogant.
Yeah, you can't. I don't
Yeah,
think anyone
like-
could ever say, "I'm trying to be humble."
Yeah, I know it's a
because he
contradiction
can't
statement.
come across humble to say that.
No, what I mean by that, let me clarify what I mean.
No, I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
What I mean is, I don't like going into places and saying, "Oh, I'm this and I'm that and whatnot, etc." Yeah, this sounds really wrong. Yeah, the reason I'm mentioning it is context, bro. Because I went in there and I done the opposite. I was really arrogant to him intentionally. So I was.
Nah, it's not arrogance.
No,
I don't- in
I-
interviews, you have to be like that. It's
not
arrogance.
arrogant. Not arrogant. It's a wrong word. I'm using wrong words here today. Okay, but not arrogant. But like, this is me. This is what I've done. I've done this.
You
I've
have
done
to, you
that.
have to, you
I've
have
traveled
to.
the world.
Nah,
I've
that's
spoken
good.
in unis. I've done this. I've done that. And like the guy was like, okay.
Bro, that's the
like-
time to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I thought I have to do it now.
Of course.
I have to do it now. Like, I have to tell this guy what I'm made of. Do you get it? I told him things, bro, that people probably don't know about me. Do you
Right.
get it? Yeah?
Yeah.
I had to say it because I want to get into uni. Do you get it?
Yeah.
And alhamdulillah, I got in.
Alhamdulillah.
But bro, like, what were we talking about just now? We were talking about something.
We were talking
Education.
about
Yeah, education.
Yeah, I was saying history.
So that's what I wanted to say. Like, for me, education is really, really important
Mm.
to educate, like to literally learn.
Mm.
That's what I'm going into uni for, to learn.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
I think that's very inspiring, bro. And
Bro,
I think that-
you really embarrassed me today. You know that I'm freshly grounded.
why?
You've implied I'm arrogant. You've implied I'm immature. Guys, this is wrong.
Bro, that was not my intention. Please forgive me. I don't want to come across that because do you know what happens if
No,
I do
it's fine. I'm
if
sure people
if
will
I,
understand
if
where
I
I'm
do
coming
stuff
from.
if I do stuff like that, then what happens is I'll get people hating on me saying like, oh, like you like said all this. Or, I didn't mean that, but what I wanted to do
I wear
is
my heart on my sleeve, akhi.
Right,
Sorry, I
no,
really
bro.
like.
just let me clarify for a second.
Sorry,
Yeah, I have like a lot of love for you.
Jazakallah khair.
And the reason that's not how long we've been going for. That's just the thing.
How long have we been going
We've been going
for?
for about 40 minutes.
40 minutes. Bro, we've hardly spoken about anything.
I know. It goes quick, doesn't it?
Okay.
Okay, here's the reason why I was saying what I was saying. For two reasons. One, I wanted to have you on.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure I had you on, but we stripped away everything and we got down to the core of you as a person.
This
That's
is what's happening.
One thing. Yeah?
This is exactly what's happening.
And the second reason is because, you know, do you know when you really care about something? Right, like for example, my biggest criticizer is probably my brother. But I know the person who probably loves me the most in this world, other than my parents, is my brother. So there must be. Then I have to sit here and think of a correlation. Like, why is it that the person who loves me the most is the person who criticizes me the most? And when I say criticizes me, he doesn't ever put me down, but he'll highlight my weaknesses. Yeah. And he's my older brother, and he feels a sense of responsibility to do that. And do you know how much I love the fact that he has done that? Because people around me would never do that. But I have friends who I've been friends with for years and years and years, but they've never pulled me up on my weaknesses. And that's amazing, because they shouldn't. I'm not saying like, oh, how dare you not pull me up on my weaknesses. But likewise, Allah has made Omar feel like he has a responsibility to do so. And I love that has happened, because it does break me down, and it breaks me down, chips away at me to make me realize my weaknesses. Do you know what I mean? Like if I wanted to speak to Omar and I wanted to say to him, bro, I'm struggling with this thing, he would say, bro, the reason you struggle with it is because you have this tendency to do X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, wow, he's being so honest with me. And with you, bro, I have so much love for you, and probably in the same way how Omar has love for me, in the sense that like I see that you're such I see that you're such an amazing person. I see that at your core, bro, like the things that you do, bro, the stuff that I know that you do, for example, like the stuff on the weekends and that kind of stuff. Why?
Beat me up.
I'm trying not to like expose you or good deeds, but I know that someone wouldn't do that if they wasn't being real with themselves. But why would you want to get up early on a Saturday morning? Do you see what I'm saying? So because I see that in you, akhi. Not that I'm bigger than you, better than you. You have much more knowledge than me. You know more Quran than me. But because I see that in you, I also want to help you by saying to you, bro, maybe don't speak about the amazing things you have done, because you've done some amazing things, but it's going to work in your favor so much more if you move in silence with it. Do you know what I'm saying? And I know 100% you're not arrogant. I know it, and I don't think anyone ever I don't think anyone thinks you're arrogant. But it's not about don't speak about themselves because of arrogance, but it's about, bro, you are a diamond, a gem, and someone who is like that doesn't need to speak about themselves. They need to let the actions they're talking, they need to, like, you should never have to justify your own amazingness, because you should move in such a way where people like, when you're not there, people are like, bro, you know Musa, bro, like he was in Africa doing this, he was in that. And when we have to speak about, when we end up speaking about ourselves, even though we're not doing it out of arrogance, we're doing it to justify ourselves.
You know what the thing is, bro? Faisal, in my life,
just end that. I hope that you don't feel like I'm like, because one thing that I knew I was going to speak to you in this manner when we were on the podcast, but my intention was not to character assassinate you. I hope that's not how it's come across to the viewers or to you.
I don't care. Like, I don't even care if you've character, because actually, shall I tell you something, bro? Yeah. Online is a very happy place for me. Go on my Instagram, guys, and see how beautiful my life is. But my life's not really that beautiful. I've been through a lot of pain in my life. I've been through, like, a lot of pain. Like, subhanAllah, like, I don't want to get emotional on here, but I've been through so many things. I've had breaking points. Like, I felt so sad sometimes. I felt so down sometimes, and I felt so upset sometimes. And the reason I feel so open to talk about my upsetness and my weaknesses and my wrongs and my, how I've oppressed myself in the past is because, some people will come and sit here right where I'm sitting, and they'll act like this. Yeah, brother. Yeah. You know what? I'm trying my best, and I'm very, I'm studying, and I try my best, and it's all good. My life's good and stuff like. No, bro. Like, because, bro, do you know what that does to people? And that really harms people. And now listeners might be thinking, what are you talking about? How does that harm people? Bro, that harms people, because when people look at you, then they think, wow, this guy's life is amazing. He's going Italy. He's been to different countries. Look at his Instagram. He's married at such a young age. It must be hunky-dory and roses. He's definitely not in overdraft. When I might be. You're looking at me and you think I'm balling, but I'm in overdraft. Do you understand? I've been in situations like that, akhi. I've been in overdraft when online, akhi, people are telling me, wow, you're going abroad. You look amazing. Bro, this is my life. This is reality, akhi.
I remember,
I'm not saying that. Sorry, bro. Just to,
no, carry on.
not to belittle myself, yeah, or not to like belittle anyone. But akhi, and brothers and sisters listening to this, Muslim, non-Muslim, don't look at celebrities. I'm not a celebrity. We're not celebrities, yeah. I don't know that. But don't look at celebrities and online personalities like they're living an amazing life. Believe me, you don't know what's going on in the mind. You don't know what's going on on the mind. I couldn't care. There's been times, akhi, you know, I might have given away all of my online audience just to be an educated person, just to be good in terms of my deen, in my personal life, and just to be worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in privacy, in happiness, and and just not feeling down, feeling happy with my wife, feeling happy in all of my life. Do you understand? But sometimes, akhi, I'll go through problems and I'll think, Musa, man, your life's very online. Maybe it's because people are giving you evil eye. Do you understand? Maybe you're going through these problems because people are giving you evil eye. So, bro, it's you know, these things that you're talking about, how it's the way I look at things, bro. It's literally the way I look at things. The reason I'm not scared to shut, and I don't even think it's like an amazing thing, akhi. Like I don't want to come across as ungrateful to Allah. Wallahi, Allah's blessed me. And I'm grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. I'm grateful to Allah for all of the blessings He's blessed me with. But at the same time, akhi, this is the dunya. This is the dunya. I'm sorry, guys. And I'm sorry, Faisal, bro. But if you look at the dunya, and if you look at these things as amazing things, like don't even talk about them. Like they're so amazing. Like don't talk about them. Like traveling the world and stuff like that. Yes. There's two levels to this. They are blessings. They're amazing. People don't get to do them. Amazing. Alhamdulillah. People don't have the money to do them, etc. Sometimes in some situations. And I haven't had the money to do them. And I've done them. Don't ask me how. But I've done them in the past. Yeah. But then there's the other side where, bro, it's just dunya to me. It doesn't really matter to me. And I'm not trying to sound like FouseyTube, yeah, here, where he's like, money's nothing and stuff like that. And I've lived through everything.
No, you're not coming across that, bro. You're coming across, like, as in,
but
I can understand what
this
you're
is
saying.
my heart talking.
Yes,
actually, this is literally my heart talking. I'm touching my heart. This is my heart talking. That, bro, these things, like, they matter to me very much. They are what has made me who I am. But at the same time, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala maybe has shown me these things to show me, Musa, don't chase dunya now. Don't chase dunya now. Because dunya is not what's going to give you what you want. You want peace. You want peace of mind. You want a good mind. You want a good body. Dunya is not going to give you that. Dunya is not going to give you that. I'm going to give you that. So just worship me and be happy. And that's why, akhi, I don't know if you've noticed, bro, vlogs, I don't really do them anymore. Last time I'd done a vlog, that vlog that I'd done, remember when I came here and SQ was filming his thing? I didn't even release that. I couldn't be bothered to edit it. Bro, I'll tell you something. Because I realized dunya for me is not doing it. Dunya for me is not doing it. Because, bro, I've got 50,000 subscribers, right? And I'm not saying it to brag. I've got 50,000 subscribers. I could really graft right now. Within a year, I could have 100.
Yeah, because, easily, bro. Within months.
Bro, because you know the way YouTube works. Yeah. The more subscribers you have, the more easier it is to flip it.
Yes, man,
the more faster it builds.
Bro, I've been on like around the 20s for years.
Bro, inshallah, when you get to 50, akhi, when I got to 30, it grew to 50 within so quickly. Yeah. And that's not because I'm so amazing. That's because that's YouTube, the way it works. Yeah. The more people you have viewing your content, the more people you're going to have in 2 months. Yeah. Do you get it? It's like a snowball effect. Right. So, akhi, I could have 50,000 subscribers. I could flip it to 100. And once I have 100, I could charge people £500 per video for sponsorship. And I could release 3, 4 videos, 5 videos a month, and I could be making £3,000, £4,000 a month, and you know.
And that's just on the side.
And that's just on the side. That's not my work. That's me on the side doing uni, and I could do that. But actually, I'm not doing that. You know why? I do need the money. I do need the money. I'm not gonna act like, oh, I don't need the money. I do need the money. I'm not in the best financial position, but bro. This is me. This is like really. Some people would probably even tell me, Musa, why are you talking so openly about your private life? Like this is really private. But bro, akhi, I want people. Akhi, wallahi al-azim, uqsim billahi al-Kaaba, uqsim billahi bi-Rabbi, the Lord of the Kaaba, akhi. Yeah, I swear by Allah, the Lord of the Kaaba. That's what I was trying to say. Yeah, bro, I'll tell you something right now. If 10 people realize something about their life from what I'm saying right now, I'm happy.
But I think they will, bro.
I'm really happy.
I think that
Because-
we don't speak about. I think that yes, we shouldn't speak too much about like like certain things, but it's very important for. That's why I think the Muslim Bilal interview was so. Right, let me just go quickly.
No problem. Bro, I've met people, yeah, who've looked at me, and this is not me talking about me as something amazing, yeah. They've literally met me, bro. Yeah, SQ, bro. When he met me, he was treating me like a big deal.
Yeah.
Akhi. And I'm literally thinking in my head, it's laughable, and it's genuinely laughable. Faisal, you know how some people talk about this, and they deep down in their heart, they're actually arrogant about it, and they're like, yeah, he was talking about me in such a big deal. Yeah, why was he talking about me like that? But deep down in their heart, they actually think they're a big deal. Akhi, deep down in my heart,
It
bro,
hurts.
when SQ was talking about me like a big deal, I'm literally thinking to myself, wow, I wish I had that much money.
Yeah.
I wish I was half
Akhi,
of what
well,
you think.
this is why I think what you're
I
saying
wish
is
I was
a-
waking up after Fajr and reading Quran every single day.
Yeah.
Like, I wish I was doing that. Bro, I'm really not that. And I think after SQ spent a few days with me, he actually realized, wow, this guy needs my help more than I'm inspired by him now.
Yeah.
When I see his personal life.
I think that what you're saying is very correct, yeah, and very inspirational. And this is why I think that the Muslim Bilal interview that we did was so beneficial, because you're right, we don't speak enough about
Our personal lives.
no,
The reality of them.
the reality. We don't speak
reality.
enough about reality. And when MB came on, bro, he spoke about his struggles about getting married. He spoke about finances to an extent, and explained that like what people see is not necessarily what is true, right? And even when you look at the most famous people. I spoke a few episodes ago about Bow Wow, and about how he at one point in his life was so successful, and then because he was so rich and so successful, he felt like he had to keep up that thing. Because when you what happens when you become rich and famous, the richness can go, but the fame's gonna stay. So that's what happened to Bow, because when he got rich and famous, he was rich and famous.
Yeah.
But then as he stopped getting work or just became out of fashion or something,
He's still
he
famous,
was
bro.
famous, but he wasn't rich, right? And so he had to start taking pictures in front of private jets, but then sit in economy. And he started getting baited out for stuff like that. And that's tough. And MB came on and he just spoke the truth. And he said, look, like you'll see, there'll be people who'll be rich who'll sign a deal, and then 6 months later they have no money. And I think that is important for us to speak about that. And something that reminds me of
Yeah.
is I remember once on social media I was fundraising for something, right? And I put up an Instagram post and I said, guys, we need X amount of money to do this, maybe build a well or something. And someone commented on my post and they wrote, you're rich, why don't you just post it yourself? And I just
Bruh.
laughed, bro. I was like,
Bruh.
I've never even like given across like what my financial situation is at. So what makes you believe that I have any richness?
Actually, let me tell you something, yeah? Let me tell you something. While I've been online and famous, yeah, while I've been in overdraft, while I've been online and famous, yeah, when I say famous, I mean whatever little fame I have,
Right.
yeah. I've been in overdraft. I've been in debt to people.
Mhm.
Akhi, while I've been online and famous, bro, there was a time, Akhi, and this breaks my heart, bro, yeah. My friend, one of my closest brothers, yeah, Akhi, yeah. His father passed away, and he was in a different city. Sorry, before his father passed away, his father was suffering from a terminally ill disease. Yeah, Akhi, I did not have money to catch a train to go and see his father in the hospital, and I was free. I could have done it. In terms of time, I could have done it. I did not have money to do it at the time, Akhi. And bro, shall I tell you something? What happened to me, bro? I want to ask my parents for money because, bro, I don't want to rely on my dad anymore. Do you get it? I don't want to rely on my dad. Yeah. And just because I've been stupid with money doesn't mean I can just turn to my parents. Do you understand what I mean? I've learned a lot about money management, bro. And his father passed away.
SubhanAllah.
And I made that journey then. I had money to make that journey, for the janazah and stuff. And I just hugged him and I said, bro, I'm so sorry I couldn't come when he was ill. And I felt so bad that I couldn't come when his father was ill. I felt so bad. And what I'm trying to say, bro, yeah, is, bro, I've had people meet me, akhi, yeah. I've had people meet me on the street, stop me on the street. They look stargazed, like, oh my Lord. Like, bro, I'm sure you've had that as well, yeah. But they look, like they've seen David Beckham. I'm thinking, right, like, and bro, I've had people will talk to you like you're balling and stuff like that, but you're not. People will talk to you like, bro, you're doing so well financially. People will talk to you like you're so knowledgeable when you're not. And that's why I'm trying to become knowledgeable. People will talk to you like you're so spiritually there when you're not. But the difference between you and them is that you want to help people. Do you get it? With the little you know, with the little small amounts that you know, with the little ayat of Quran, little as in the small amount of ayat of Quran that you know, you want to help people. That's the difference between me and you. The only difference. Right now, I don't have GCSEs. I don't have a stable income right now. I don't have anything special going on in my life like that. I'm not best friends with the king of Dubai or the king of Saudi Arabia that I'm heavily funded. I don't have these things. The only difference between me and you is that I choose to try and help people online, and maybe you don't. Maybe, and that's not a bad thing about you. Maybe you just keep yourself to yourself. That's the only difference. The only difference. People look up to me, people like me and you. But when you get to know people like me and you really get to know each other's struggles. We've sat down at the table and spoken about some of your struggles. And Akhi, if people knew that, bro, do you understand? Akhi, if people knew my struggles, they'd probably lose respect for me. It's the nature of this world. This is the nature of this earth. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us examples of the best of people, and the best of people will be trialed, they will be tested. And when I go through these big tests that I go through, akhi, I just think to myself, Musa, you know, you're going through a big test right now, but inshallah it's because you're a big person. Inshallah you're going through this big test.
That's big, yeah.
Inshallah you're going through this huge test that's killing your brain because you're a big person. If you were a little person, you'd go through a little struggle.
Yeah.
You're going through a big struggle, you're a big person.
Yeah, that's amazing. With it. That's amazing.
And akhi, look, my life's nothing like roses and glamorous. And that jacket, that Zara jacket I'm wearing, I've been wearing that for 2-3 years. Like, it's not glamorous. I used to make it glamorous. I used to. Believe me, bro. There was a time, you knew me at that time as well, going Westfield every month. Grand every month. Bro, there was a time I spent £1,000 every month. It was like a direct debit, just going Westfield on rubbish. And half that stuff I don't even have. Akhi, I've given I've given away loads of my clothes. Some to charity, and I'm not saying I've given them away to charity. Look at how pious I am, bro. I'm not gonna throw them in the bin. So it's not like I've been, you know, I'm not trying to make it out like, oh, I'm so sincere and stuff like that. I've looked in my wardrobe, like. Akhi, I've had so many clothes. I've just thought, Mum, here, let's give this away. I haven't even seen where my mum's giving it to people and stuff. Like,
I think that that is something that everyone goes through when they first get an income. Is they have to build a relationship with money management.
Yeah,
and
man.
I think it can take a few years, or it could take decades. I don't think it can be a few months. I think that you have to really experience at least a year or two of making mistakes with your money to realize how you should deal with it correct. And someone who I would recommend for anyone to watch, and I'd recommend it to you as well, is a man called Dave Ramsey.
Okay.
And if you go to YouTube and you type in Dave Ramsey baby steps,
awesome.
It's about a 45 minutes, 1 hour talk about money management, and it's amazing. It's amazing. It really changed me, and it helped me see money in a much more amazing way. And his baby steps, for his baby steps to work, you don't have to have a lot of money. You just have to have a consistency, even if it's £500 a month. But yeah, let's switch the conversation over.
I just want to say one thing before you switch it over. Sorry, to whoever you want to take it, bro. Life is not perfect. I'll be honest with you. Yeah. I've been thinking about this podcast ever since you told me about it, you know? Like, I've been thinking about it.
And what were you thinking?
I've been imagining, how's it going to be? It's going to be so ideal. We're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about that. It's going to be amazing.
How's it been?
So inspirational. Bro,
nothing like that.
It's been nothing like that. And I'll tell you something right now. Am I upset about that? No. Because this podcast, this within itself, is a reflection of reality. This is a reflection of life. This is how life is. It looks really glamorous on the outlook, but when you actually get into the nitty-gritty, بل تؤثرون الحياة الدنيا والآخرة خير وأبقى. That you prefer this dunya. Allah expresses to us how we prefer this dunya in multiple places in the Quran, but the akhirah is better and it's more enduring.
How did you imagine the episode would go?
I imagine the episode, for example, me talking about Musa, what's going on with your life right now? And I'm talking about what's going on with my life. What have you done in your life? And I'm talking about what have I done in life? What would you like to do in your life? And having input on different topics and stuff. But bro, you know, should I tell you something? This is for the best, the way it's gone. And I'm not upset with the way it's gone, or upset. I just said that. I'm not looking at it in any negative way, because bro, I'm trying to be a good person. I'm trying to be a positive person, but I struggle.
But
And
I think you're an amazing person, and I think that
I don't want you to say that to my face.
No,
but I'll
no,
tell you
but-
something. I want. Sorry, I'm really sorry, but I just want to get this off my chest. But it's like I wear my heart on my sleeve, and that has got me hurt a lot of times. Yeah, but at the same time, I'll tell you something right now, bro. I want people to benefit. I've realized, akhi. Look, bro, Faisal, bro, being real, yeah. Who cares if you think I'm bullying? Who cares if you think I'm handsome? Who cares if you think that I'm an amazing person? Not you. I'm talking about people out there, yeah? Who cares if you think that I'm making so much money? Who cares if you think he's such a beautiful speaker? Who cares if you think Mufti Menk is such a good speaker? When, akhi, in reality of the matter, what really matters is what Allah thinks of all of us.
It's true.
Wallahi, reality of the matter is what Allah thinks. So, bro, if it means, akhi, if me helping people listening to this podcast right now realize, yo, my life is just like this guy's. My life has been really messed up. I need to fix it. And before we end it, please let us talk about how to fix, your life and stuff. Definitely.
We're not ending the podcast anytime soon. Don't worry.
Inshallah, beautiful.
It's
lovely,
only been about an hour.
Beautiful, lovely. I can speak for hours, yeah. But I'll tell you something right now, bro, yeah. If akhi, wallahi al-azim, uqsum billah, yeah. If people can benefit, and if someone can come up to me and say, bro, I listened to that podcast, you bloody embarrassed yourself.
I
But
think
akhi,
people will really benefit.
that really helped me change my life. I'll say to them, I'll shake their hand, I'll say, well done, bro. I couldn't care what you think of me. I'm not here to look like an amazing spiritual, we're like not criticizing people that dress nice and dress all smart and wear shimar and stuff like that. I'm not here to sit here and be all uptight and act like I'm so prestigious. I'm not here to do that. If me sitting next to a bin outside, it makes you realize, it makes you realize what life's really about, then alhamdulillah.
Bro,
beautiful.
I don't think
you
that
can take it where you wanted to take it. Sorry, I just wanted to clarify that.
I don't think that you've embarrassed yourself one bit. I actually think that
Even if I
people,
have.
I think that people will listen to this episode and they will see a window into Musa Adnan, and I think that they'll gain a huge level of respect for you if they don't already have that, and they'll be able to see. Because the stuff that you've mentioned in this episode, you can't get across in a 10-minute YouTube video or on a 15-second
Most
Instagram
definitely you
story. And I think that there's maybe been times where people have done episodes of podcasts where it hasn't worked in their favor. Not that you're on here as a marketing move, but people have done episodes of podcasts where it's maybe been a bit like not good for them.
Have you had that before?
Huh?
Have you had that before? Okay. You don't need to mention who, obviously.
Yeah,
but because you've done like 70 now, so.
maybe. But I think that I think that this is not the case. I think that with you here, I think that people will be able to. I think that perhaps actually you will change a lot of people's opinions about you if people. I'm not saying people have bad opinions of you, but if people. Because we all have people who like us and dislike us. I got a DM yesterday. I was helping direct someone's podcast. And the podcast isn't even out yet. It's their first episode. No one's heard anything. And I must put up an Instagram story saying, helping direct this episode. And I got a DM saying, it's better than your one. And I was like, haven't even heard it yet. So we all have people who like and dislike us. So I'm not saying that anyone dislikes you at all. But I'm saying that that I think that this has really opened people's eyes up to you. And this is what I wanted, bro, out of it. Because I wanted people to see...
This is the nitty gritty.
I want people to see the Musa that I am able to sit down with and talk to, and just when you speak about things in such a beautiful way, you speak about wanting to help your family, you speak about wanting to benefit yourself, your soul, you speak about the akhirah, you speak about wanting to like meet Allah. So I think that's amazing. Let's switch it over, otherwise we end up speaking about this for ages.
No problem.
I want to kind of speak about your journey with where you're going in regards to your public life on media, right?
Yes.
Because we've discussed this a lot in private life, and I've often said to you that I feel like when you started, so for those people who don't know, Musa had been presenting for Iman Channel for quite a long time, and then he kind of brought me into Iman Channel, which I'm so grateful for. And because of you bringing me into that, I've had the beautiful opportunity of doing a lot of presenting with Iman Channel, and you've sometimes even thrown me in the deep end, and we've been doing a show where I've planned to come in and be a guest, and you said, bro, you present the whole show. And I presented, and I've been told, like, 1 minute before the show goes live that I'm presenting, and I'm
Yeah.
like thrown in the deep end. And
Yeah.
I thank you so much for that, because that's allowed me to expand my horizons, potentially probably given me more job opportunities and stuff. And so I appreciate you bringing me into Iman channel, and also giving me opportunities that I think that you had no benefit in, but you did it purely to help myself. So
Yeah.
like, for example, the Eid in the Park, I'm sure you could have presented Eid in the Park by yourself, but I remember you called me up and you said, bro, look, there's an opportunity to present Eid in the Park. Mufti Menk's going to be this, an amazing opportunity for you to start building a relationship with Mufti Menk. On top of that, you'll get paid for it. I'll try and get you paid more than you usually do. Do you want to come and do it? And I'm thinking, wow, there's no benefit in Musa for this, but he's helping me with my experience, helping me get paid, he's helping me build with Mufti Menk. And so that's an amazing thing that you did there. And now, alhamdulillah, I'm presenting much more frequently with Iman channel, and you helped me get to my foot in the door there. But when the thing I want to speak about is when you started presenting with Iman channel,
Yes.
it was apparent very quickly that you're very good at TV presenting, right?
Okay.
And I think that the people might not understand the art of presenting until you are in front of the camera, and you, in one ear, you have someone speaking to you constantly, counting down seconds, counting minutes, giving you advice like, do this, don't do that, move this, move that, like all of this kind of stuff. And then on the other end, you're trying to present a show, and you have to adapt to the show as well, because sometimes you might be sitting with a student of knowledge, a scholar, sometimes you might be sat with someone who is just a guest, and you have to manage it, and you do it very, very well. And so after seeing you present a few times, I realized that this seems like this is Musa's calling.
Yeah.
And you've been doing YouTube for 7 years
Have I?
or whatever, since you're 15,
16, yeah. So,
16.
yeah,
You've been doing YouTube for 6 years,
Yeah.
and maybe you've done 1 year of presenting, and it's like, wow, he's not that you weren't good at YouTube, but he's so much better at presenting than he has been at. Then you see him, you're so natural, and you perform very well, and you can be mature with it, and you can carry conversation. So my question is, do you feel like you have now found the thing that A, you're good at, and B, that you love, and maybe C, that makes you special? Because there are so many YouTubers that can't maybe present a TV show.
I know I found what I want to do in my life.
Is that presenting?
And no.
Really?
No, it's not presenting, but it is presenting. So
You're a great presenter for TV though.
So it's like it's talking,
Okay.
basically. It's speaking. Yeah. So that's what I'd like to do, inshallah. So what presenting requires from you is you are very concentrated, you're focused on what you're talking about, and you can be formal. Because obviously when you're presenting with a sheikh, you can't be saying, yeah, what are you saying, fam? You good? This, that. You got to be like, so sheikh, I have a question for you. So, and you got to be serious, Sometimes, bro, I'll be honest with you, some sisters have a sister calls in, for example. When you first start, it is childish, obviously, but she calls in about a really private issue of hers, and you can't be like, okay, that's really private.
Do you know what? I remember when me and you done one of our first shows together, it was like Ask the Sheikh or something.
Okay.
And it was one of my first shows, so I didn't know what to expect. And a sister must have called in and asked about like some rulings about menstruation or something.
Yeah.
And even though you're an adult and it's just realistic, it's reality, and it's not funny, and it's like, all right, grow up, be mature.
Yeah.
But when you're live on TV and someone asks about such a private matter and you didn't expect it, and you're sat with a sheikh, it's like the perfect remedy for you to laugh because you're really not meant to at this point.
Bro, you have to keep your face straight. This is all hard, but it comes back to what I want to do, and what I want to do is present Islam. All of it involves presenting, akhi, like teaching, speaking to people, advising, counseling, all of these sort of things. These are the kind of things I'd like to be doing in 10 years, inshallah.
But do you think that everybody wants to be like a motivational speaker or speak on stage, but you're good at something that not everybody can be good at, and that's TV presenting.
But I think that if I'm good at TV presenting, I could be good at public speaking, And I don't know.
But there's both. But TV presenting is a completely different art that is so much harder to be good at, and also it's like,
there's no way I want to do TV presenting. Very upfront.
Really?
Yeah, in 10 years, no way. There's no way I want to be doing that.
I think you should think about that, because you have a niche, bro. Like,
And I found my focus, bro. You can't rattle it now.
really,
Like there's no way I want to be doing that. You know why? Because I want to more be. I would like to more be on the side of who's being asked the question, like who's actually doing the benefiting. Do you get it? There's more reward in that, yeah, than being the guy who's asking the question. There's reward for both of them, but there's more reward in the guy who's benefiting.
right?
Do you get it?
But listen to this perspective.
Yeah.
There's not many people who are very knowledgeable.
I'll keep doing it, by the way.
Right, but there's not many people who are very knowledgeable but amazing at presenting. So they can sit with a sheikh or a scholar, present amazingly, but understand them, understand the questioner, and maybe even like not translate in language, but translate in terms of the and say and also understand, like, because bro, you know that with even asking a question, there's a lot of fiqh that's involved.
There's a lot of
so imagine you understand fiqh to a deep level, and someone asks you, and you can like relate to that, bro.
There is definitely that aspect to it. But I'll tell you something. I always told this to Ali, and this made my move of leaving. I mean, I don't know if you're okay with me saying this. I mean, it's not controversial, but this was my move leaving the Salam project that they're doing. I need to grow. I need to grow, and I need to become more independent now with my dawah, etc. Because I'm trying to go through a kind of different route. Do you get it? So, like, basically, I would always say to Ali, bro, Ali, right now, I would always express this to him. I'm 17. Right now, I'm 18. I don't want to be doing this when I'm 20. Ali, right now, I'm 19. I don't want to be doing this when I'm 22. Ali, right now, I'm 20. I don't want to be doing this when I'm 30. Bro, Ali, I'm 22 now. I'm sorry. I'm not going to do this when I'm 30. Do you get it? And you know what that is, Akhi? That's evolving. That's growing with your audience. I watched your vlog actually this morning. From yesterday? You released it yesterday?
Yes, the one that where I'm speaking about.
You were saying about how you want to grow. Yeah. Believe me, bro, there's people that are going to tell you, when you do this new thing, whatever you do, there's people that are going to tell you, bro, Faisal, your vlogs are so much better than your podcast. There's people that are going to tell you that. But you should not let that rattle you, because you know what you want to do. And Akhi, maybe, just maybe, in 5 years of you, let's say you leave your vlogs. I don't know if you're going to leave your vlogs. Let's say you leave your vlogs and you start doing something more mature in your mind. Okay, let's say you start doing something more mature in your mind, yeah? And people at first are like, I don't know, you're good at vlogging though. Akhi, let's say in 5 years of you working hard on that new thing, bro, people have completely forgotten about your vlogging. That's how good at you've become at it. That's how I'd like to be. I'd like to move with my time. Akhi, I don't want to be sitting in the same seat in 10 years. Not because, it's such a lowly seat, it's so crap.
You just want to grow, yeah.
I want to grow, Akhi. This is how I want to be. 16, benefiting the 16-year-olds. Okay, you've benefited the 16-year-olds now. 18, you're benefiting the 18-year-olds. 20, you're benefiting the audience. You're growing.
You know what? That reminds me of. It reminds me of a quote from, I remember, from Jahiliyyah, and it was from Jay-Z, and he said,
shout out Jay-Z, mate.
he said that people tell me, oh, you've changed, as if, and he said, as if I put in all this work to stay the same. Like, of course, I hope I've changed, kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? So that's good.
Exactly.
And even what you were saying about my vlogs.
That's my mindset, by the way.
I'm not saying that I'm going to stop vlogging or anything. I think that the next couple of vlogs that I put out, people won't even notice a difference. They'll be like, oh, you said you were going to change, but they're exactly the same. My point was just that I'm going to carry on doing everything that I was doing or that I'm doing. My point is that I'm not going to try and force.
Maybe slowly.
I'm just going to do whatever I feel like naturally. Like, I'm not going to try and force humor or force being exaggerated or anything like that. Bro, so you were actually just speaking about something that made me want to delve into something else, but now I can't even.
What was I talking about?
Remember.
I was talking about.
This is what I was going to ask. So I was going to say, so you were mentioning about you want to be the person who gives the benefit and stuff.
Yeah.
Are you looking to eventually go into deeper Islamic studies to the point of like potentially moving abroad and studying I know that the chance of you going to, for example, something like Medina or something are slim, because I think as you get older, the chances wear down or something. Like, you can't go past 25.
By the time I graduate, I'll still be able to go Medina in terms of age.
Is that something that at this point that you think that is potentially? Do you want to be? Would you like to be like a on that level, or like studying the deen to that extent, or?
I can't say what I'd like.
Okay.
I'll tell you something. I can say what my mindset is right now.
Fine.
Because actually my life, the nature of it has been so spontaneous.
Mm.
So as everyone will be able to tell from this podcast, yo, Musa's a really spontaneous person. His life's been so spontaneous. Actually, you know when I decided I want to go uni? When I really made the move and effort to start to go uni is when people have already applied to uni and enrolled probably. Like a month ago, or like not even a month ago, like in the last 2 months, let's say that, yeah? So, akhi, yes, I will pursue, to answer your question, further Islamic studies. Definitely, most definitely, I want to do that. 100%, yeah? In regards to studying abroad, akhi, my opinion on studying abroad is very unique. I think a lot of the knowledge you can get abroad, you can get here. If you speak to a Medina graduate, and you ask him about the ilm he's got, the knowledge he's got, and he's studied, I don't think any of them will tell you, oh, this is exclusive knowledge that you can only get in Medina. Akhi, knowledge, alhamdulillah, the time and the places that we live in today, and the era that we live in, knowledge is not exclusive to Medina, and it's not exclusive to a place. Do you understand what I mean? Knowledge is not exclusive to a place.
Yeah.
Bro, so for me, I don't have to go Medina. I would love to. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wills for me to go Medina after I've graduated, inshallah, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, my course that I'm currently doing, I'd love it. And if Allah makes it easy for me, why not? Whatever Allah plans for me. But yes, my plans are to further, on a serious level, my studies in terms of Islam, definitely. I mean, and I'm bi'idhnillah in the process of that.
That's very inspiring.
Yeah.
If you
Knowledge is
it goes without saying,
important.
but while you're studying at university and you're doing your history degree, if you do ever need any help, you're more than welcome to come to me. Not that I can help you with a history
Definitely,
degree, but what I
inshallah.
mean is that
My dad's there, man. My dad's...
yeah, of
alhamdulillah.
course, bro. Your dad's a historian.
Yeah,
What I
exactly,
meant is
yeah.
not to do with history, but I mean to do with anything to do with uni, because
Yeah. Definitely.
I enjoyed the uni process in the end, even though I didn't want to.
I think I'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
I'm actually excited for it, so...
Yeah, you got
I'm
all the
feeling a
tools
bit
for it,
of
bro. You're
pressure,
into
but-
reading and stuff like that. That's important. And
Yeah, inshallah.
yeah, that's big.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you what's your thoughts? Do you ever think about stuff like self-improvement and self-growth and
Yeah. Every day, probably.
but in regards to
I look at my belly every day and I think, yo, this needs to stop growing.
in regards to like figuring out your own weaknesses and trying to strengthen them in all accounts, like for example, whether it be fitness like you mentioned, or mental, or anything like that. Is that something that do you have a process every day that you think, what can I improve about myself today?
So basically, I'm supposed to be in that process. I actually got a notebook and I wrote stuff down in it. But basically, Lats has said this, and I got this from Lats, brother Latif, amazing guy, mashallah. I wanna strengthen myself in a few areas, 4 areas. Being healthy financially, and in no particular order, by the way. Being healthy financially, being healthy physically, being healthy spiritually, and being healthy mentally. For me, those 4 things are the most important things in an individual person's life. They are the most important things in an individual person's life. After them, and things are included within them. You know, your marriage, the health of your marriage is important. Your physical health is related to that, you know, in some ways. Your spiritual health is related to that in some ways. Your mental health is definitely related to that, because if you're going nuts, you know, your wife's gonna be worried about you.
Also
So,
financial as well. You're
financial,
right. Yeah, of course,
exactly.
yeah.
So all of these things tie in
Right.
to each other. You know, they actually tie in, link to each other, and they're complementary things to each other. So I would like, and the reason I mention these things is because I used to be so superficial. I used to be so focused about, oh yeah, you got to look blingy with the watch, you got to look nice with the shoes and stuff like that. And I used to collect loads of stuff.
That's probably just a process of growing up.
It's a
Everyone
process.
goes, right?
Maybe it's a process of growing up.
Yeah.
But I was extreme in these things.
Yeah.
So I would spend hundreds of pounds to make myself feel happy. I remember once I walked into a shop and spent £330 on a Stone Island jacket. I ended up giving that Stone Island jacket to my cousin, like, hey, just take it. It's fine. You know.
Wow, I think
So-
the most
so
I've ever spent on a jacket was £75, and I
Yeah.
really like that, and I wore it for like
330.
2-3 years.
I spent that on a Stone Island jacket, and to me that wasn't even like I thought. I want to spend more on jackets. I'd like to buy a Gucci jacket, spend a grand. That was my mindset. SubhanAllah, such an dumb mindset.
My favorite
Now-
jumper ever. My favorite jumper ever is a £10 jumper from Primark. It's
Allahu
you know
Akbar.
the grey one with the zips on the side. Have you seen me wear that? It's so cozy.
Yeah. I have seen you wear that actually. Yes.
Loads of times.
Yeah.
I try
You
wear it every
definitely
day.
wear that a lot.
When I started getting bigger from the gym, I was really upset because I can't wear it anymore. That's the only thing I was upset
Are you
about.
trying to show off your gains, bro?
Nah, I've really slowed down on that, unfortunately.
No, but basically for me, yeah, like now I went from doing that to going Primark and buying a t-shirt and really loving Primark t-shirts. I love Primark t-shirts. So, my mindset's changed a lot. So the reason I mentioned those 4 things specifically, going back to my main point, is because, akhi, I've tried other things. I've tried to feel happy through clothes. I've tried to feel happy through money. I've tried to feel happy through, I mean, not necessarily, like I said, financial. Financial is important. But I mean, I've tried to feel happy directly through money.
I understand, yeah.
It doesn't work.
Right.
Yeah. I've tried to feel happy and good about myself from my haircuts. It doesn't work. That's why you will see me letting myself go and I'll just clean up my mustache and it's cool. You know? So I think I've become more of a conscious person rather than superficial as I grow. Alhamdulillah.
Talk to me a bit about
Yeah.
Hassan.
Okay.
With the extent to what he would, because you're like one of his closest friends, so I'm sure, and I can tell from his persona that he's a very private person, and he doesn't like to speak about himself. So talk to me about him to the extent that you are aware that he would be comfortable you speaking about him. But the reason I'm so interested is because I think that everyone has known for a while that you, one of your best friends was Hassan.
Okay.
And I think it was similar to kind of my relationship with Onali in that,
yeah.
like, you had a friend who was not in the public eye.
Yes,
but
most
he was
definitely.
clearly your like best friend,
Definitely.
and nobody knew much about Hassan. Probably still doesn't, and just like me, and I didn't know much about Hassan. And then maybe after about a year or so, I was at an event once, and I just seen him, and he just had grown out his lehya, and he was at the front row in the Mufti Menk talk, and I was amazed. I was speaking to him. I was like, "What's made you so passionate about the deen?" Not to say that he wasn't before, but I just didn't know, right? And so perhaps it was just more of it was showcased a lot more. Talk to me about your relationship with him and how perhaps maybe you had an impact on him, because I think a lot of people would assume that you would only hang around with people who you would maybe look up to on an Islamic level or all that kind of stuff. But you actually, I'd say it's probably fair to say that from the outside it looks like you actually had a big impact on on Hassan's life. So talk to me a bit about that, to the extent that he would be happy for you to talk to about him.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, Hassan is one of my best friends.
Yeah.
You know, he's a brother to me. Him and his brother and his family are like my family. You know, and they've really looked out for me. Hassan's the kind of friend, if I call him right now and I say to him, bro, you know, I'm in a desperate situation, I need £500, he won't say no to me. You know, if he has it, he'll give it to me. He's like that, you know. I'm very close to him. I have a very close relationship with that brother.
Is he your age?
He's older than me.
Okay.
He's older than me because my dad took me out of school, going back a bit, you know, to the beginning of the podcast. Before my dad took me out of school, when my dad took me out of school, I had to make friends with people older than me. That's why, like, you're my friend. Like, Ali's my friend.
How old is Hassan?
Hassan is 25.
Okay.
Yeah. Qasim, I actually knew Qasim first, his brother, and his brother's like, 27, 28. Like, so I was friends with people much older than me, you know? So basically, with Hassan, we would sin together. That sounds really wrong, but we would we would go out and do stuff together, you know, and we were best of friends in that, you know. We would go out to places we shouldn't and things like that, and we would listen to music together and stuff like that. And even though I've always been in the public eye, there was a phase I went through where I wasn't as practicing in the public eye. And I was making it clear, like, yo, I don't want to be practicing, kind of thing. It was dumb of me and it was a mistake of me, but hey, you know, that's what I went through. And he was there with me and we were doing stuff. And then, akhi, I just started going through a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression, akhi, a lot of problems at that time. And akhi, for some reason, akhi, I would always find myself back at Allah's door. I would always find myself back. This is where I'm finding peace. One day I just thought to myself, Musa, stop torturing yourself. You know, we would go to certain environments, and I would think to myself, like, not clubbing and stuff like that, but like we go to certain environments, and I feel depressing there, you know. And then I said to Hassan, like, I didn't even say it, like, bro, I'm not gonna listen to music anymore. I'm not gonna listen to music anymore. And then when we would be in the car, they'd turn off the music. And then what happened with me, bro, is I started seriously practicing. Like, yo, I'm serious about this. Hassan saw that, and then I would give Hassan dawah, you know, and I would speak about other people, you know, our friends, and I'd say, look, they messed up. Why are they doing that for?
What
Not
would his
backbiting
reaction
them.
be?
His reaction would be like, bro, you're really right, man. You're really right. And Hassan's one of those people who's got a very pure heart. Allahumma barik. So one day he just starts growing his beard out. And then one day, and then before
How long was that process?
Then Akhi Hassan, his connection with music was so strong that you would say this guy's never gonna stop listening to music.
Yeah.
Never. And he just stops listening to music. One day I was like, just how we're chilling on my sofa at home, I asked him, I said, bro, why, you know, because I was wondering, was it me, you know? And if it was me, I would feel really happy, like not in an arrogant way.
No, I know what you mean.
I'm really like,
you'd feel
I really
humbled
like
and
feeling
you'd
pure.
love. Yeah.
I really like feeling that pure feeling that,
Yeah.
oh man, I helped someone. That's
Yeah.
amazing. That's why, like, I'm so passionate about helping people.
Yeah.
I'm so, you know, passionate about that, akhi. So I wanted to ask him,
That's
and
beautiful.
I kind of wanted him to say, like, yeah, it was partially you,
Yeah.
yeah, and I wanted to feel happy, that joy, like, oh my God, Allahu Akbar.
I've been on such a long journey with this guy.
Yeah,
and
like every time this guy prays, every time this guy does something good, bi'idhnillah, like every time this guy does something amazing, I'll get the reward of that. And I
Yeah.
wanted to feel that.
Yeah.
And he told me everything, and he never mentioned me.
Oh, really?
And then the last thing, like before he finished talking, he was like, bro, I'll be really honest with you. Spending time with you and being around you and like you inspiring me was like, he basically expressed like it was a significant thing.
Allahu Akbar.
It was a big thing for him. And he mentioned that last, you know, I don't know if he done that intentionally, but I felt really happy to hear that, you know. I felt really happy
That's
to hear
amazing, bro.
that, you know.
Yeah, you should feel happy about that. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
Alhamdulillah.
So how because you obviously sped through that. How long was that process of you having those talks where you're saying, you
Yeah.
know, talking about people around you and stuff, and for him to
Not long at all.
months, years?
Months, maybe a couple months, you know. Like, it wasn't long at all. You know why? Because it's about, I think when you're spending time with your friends are like you know. Me, I was easily swayed. I've always been easily swayed towards, you know, if someone towards.
I think you're also easily inspired.
Yeah, exactly. I'm very easily inspired.
You
Definitely.
will see something
I'll be
and you
like,
just want
"Yo,
to do it.
That's
Yeah,
amazing. I want to do it. Do you get it? Like, you know,
It's good, it's
so
nice.
I'm very easily inspired. So when and he's like that as well. I've
Yeah.
noticed, like, I've even seen myself, like, I'll be talking to him and I'll look at him and I can see in his face, like, this guy's inspired. Do you get it? So we're both the same. And it just goes to show you, you know, sometimes you may be around your bad friends and you're thinking you're nothing like them and they're causing you to do a lot of haram. Maybe that's your chance to leave them, because, bro, you are what your friends are. You are what your friends are. And me and Hassan were a reflection of each other. We would do bad and we would do it together. And when I changed, he changed. We were a direct reflection of each other as close friends. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, alhamdulillah, I changed, he changed, and Hassan is someone who's now studying. You know, who would have thought? I would have never thought that. Knowing Hassan, not that he was like a person that doesn't study, but bro, I wouldn't have thought that Hassan's gonna be studying what he's studying and like so seriously and stuff
What
like
are you talking
that.
about Islamically?
Islamically,
Right.
like I wouldn't have thought that,
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, alhamdulillah, Allah is the best of planners, and Allah guides
Yeah.
whom He wills, and Allah is in control of our hearts, you know. So that's why we make that dua, Ya muqallib al-qulub, thabbit qalbi ala dinik,
Yeah, subhanallah.
you know. And you know, like I've spoken about a lot of, you know, I don't know, are you going to take it to an end now?
There's one thing that I wanted to speak about before, but
Okay.
yeah, we're going to round up
Before
soon.
you speak about that thing, that final topic, I just wanted to say one thing. I've spoken a lot about anxiety, about depression, about mental health in this podcast. I've touched upon it a little bit, and about health. Just generally in terms of health, I've spoken about, right? I've spoken about how I've gone through very unhealthy times, and how I've suffered in those unhealthy times. And I just wanted to say, guys, if there's people out there that have been listening to this podcast and you're going through a rough time, understand that a lot of the time it's you putting yourself through that rough time. Sometimes you're in direct control of your thinking.
But that comes back to the saying of yesterday, didn't it? Your problems are not as bad as you think, rather they're as bad as you think.
Exactly. So, look, your problems are in your control a lot of the time. You know, you're I don't know what your problem is. Overthinking, you have the choice a lot of the time to stop overthinking, to think, enough's enough.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that anymore.
Right.
Stop. And when you see yourself going down that bad hole again, stop. Do you get it? Stop yourself. You have to have that soft intrinsic motivation. And sometimes, akhi, there's nowhere to get it from. Sometimes, akhi, there's nowhere. You look around, there's nowhere for motivation. Nowhere, akhi. Nothing's motivating you. At that moment, you know, there's only one thing you can turn to. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah is there and Allah is that motivation. Tawakkaltu ala Allah. I rely on Allah, and you go for it.
That's powerful.
That's what you got to do. So a lot of people, I don't care what stress you're going through, financial, spiritual, physical, mental, make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if it is in your control, which bro, you know, a lot of people when they talk about these things, they're very sensitive, and you should be, you know, and you say mental health is, you know, fix yourself, etc. But then they always say, but if it's something that's within yourself that you can't help yourself but to be mentally unwell, then obviously you need medication, etc. But I'll say something. A lot of the time, akhi, mental health, physical health, bro, it's just a case of you just need to hit the mental gym. You just need to hit the physical gym. You just need to hit the financial gym. You just need to hit the spiritual gym. You just need to hit these gyms and become stronger. But you're not doing that. Whose fault is that? No, not Allah's, not your fault. Not Faisal's fault, not Musa's fault. It's your fault. It's your fault. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in multiple places in the Quran, He expresses to us that it was not Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that oppressed them, rather it was them that oppressed themselves.
SubhanAllah.
So a lot of the time you're oppressing yourself. You're putting pressure on yourself. You're overthinking. You're overburdening yourself. You're punishing yourself physically, mentally, spiritually. Whose fault is it that you're not getting up to pray your salah? No one except yours. No one except yours. Even your wife, the closest person to you, the person you're intimate with, you can't blame her for not praying. Do you get what I mean? It's yourself. So you need to fix yourself. And akhi, in a nutshell, that's how I fix myself. I had to stop feeling sorry for myself. I had to stop thinking of myself that, oh, you've done so many amazing things. And I had to think, yo, listen, man, who cares what you've done? It doesn't matter what you've done. You need to fix yourself now. You're going through a rough time. Fix yourself. Just because you've done what some people like Faisal would call amazing things and inspirational things, doesn't mean that you just sit on those things for the rest of your life and you go off those things for the rest of your life. Some people, they may have done a degree in their life and now they're depressed. So you think to yourself, just because you've got a degree, just because you've worked a little bit hard in your life and you've achieved something, that's enough. That's when people start lazing. That's why, bro, constant work. This life is constant work, akhi. Until you die, until you taste that last breath, then you can say, you know what? Then you can say in your grave, you know what? I've done what I could. Now it's my time to rest.
It sounds like you've had to have you've had to come to a
harsh reality,
a stop, and have an honest conversation with yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that one thing that we lack as a society is individually we don't have an honest conversation with ourselves. And what that requires for us to be alone. And I think that often we are scared to be alone because we would end up having a honest discussion with ourselves. And even when people are alone, we're not really alone because we're still with our phones or our computers, our internet. So being alone, as in being literally just by yourself and your thoughts, is so powerful because it forces you to be honest with yourself and really look at your weaknesses and look at self-improvement. And even if we look at the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we see times where he would go to the mountains and be completely alone and ponder. And I think that pondering and reflecting alone is so important, and it allows you to come to conclusions that you've come to, and it's just, you have an honest conversation with yourself and you think, if I strip away ego, if I strip away people's thoughts, if I strip away my desires, what is it that I really need to fix about myself? What is it that I really am struggling with? What is it that what do I need to be honest with myself with? I tell myself that I'm like, I'm like, financially I'm okay, but am I really? Would I be able to?
Yeah,
If my car broke down tomorrow and I had to pay £1,000 to get my engine fixed, would that be inconvenience or would that be a catastrophe? And if it would be a catastrophe, then maybe I'm not financially stable because I'm not accounting for for things that, for example, should be an inconvenience. Bro, I did want to round up the podcast. But before we do round up the podcast, I wanted to ask you a question. You don't have any older siblings, and or to your knowledge, and you.
What are you trying to say about my dad, bro?
No, I'm just saying you don't have any older siblings, innit?
Yeah.
But you have siblings that are much younger than you. Yeah, there's a huge age gap, and so how do you feel about that? Do you feel like you have a very big level of responsibility as an older brother who is so much older than your siblings to make sure that you hold yourself in the correct way? And do you feel like it has been a struggle not having a sibling around the same age as you for you to bounce back and forth with, like for example Hassan has had with Qasim?
I mean, for me, bro, with siblings specifically speaking, alhamdulillah, I have a good relationship with all of my siblings. And I think all of my siblings, love me and they respect me to a specific extent. And I think they take me seriously. And I know they take me seriously. But I do think that there's things I need to improve on. And I've been thinking about those things within the last year or so, because like sometimes, like whenever I see my brother, I'll always annoy him. He's my brother, and like it's like I'm used to doing that, just annoying him, taking his remote, taking his toy, teasing him, running upstairs, like just playing with him like that. To me, it's playing. To him, it's actually like, yo, this guy's annoying me. Like, I hate this guy. It can be like that sometimes. Sometimes my brother shouts at me. Hamza, may Allah bless him. So I mean, so. For me, I have thought to myself, you know what? That is one thing that I'd like to be better with my siblings. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd like to improve my relationship with my siblings. So yeah, I mean, it can be improved, but it's not the worst of relationships.
Do you think that because you haven't had siblings around the same age as you, it's one of the reasons why you have a good or a strong relationship with your mum and dad? Because I do see that you have a very good relationship with your dad and your mum. I suppose people don't see the relationship with your mum because they don't know you on a personal level. But
obviously,
Allahumma barik, from what I see, you have a very good relationship with even your mum. It's like it seems to me that your relationship with your parents is more so like a friend relationship, although you still have that respect.
Once I was in the car with Ali, once I said something to my dad. I'm not going to repeat it because it's a bit inappropriate to repeat on here, and it's definitely inappropriate, but I said it like just as banter with my dad, and my dad actually laughed and stuff, and Ali was shocked. He was like, bro, I would rather, he said something, I remember you telling me he said he would rather, I remember he would never speak to his dad like that or something. He would never speak to his dad like that, He would never speak to his dad like, that I wasn't rude, by the way. I wasn't rude. I said something inappropriate, and Ali was shocked, and I was like, even my dad was calm about it. My dad was like, yeah, it is a bit inappropriate, but like whatever. He wasn't like, and my dad, bro, is very sensitive to what I say to him. If I'm rude to my dad, bro, I can't get away with being rude to my dad. Don't think anyone can. Your
dad has a very scary side.
He's got very.
Bro, sometimes I say something to your dad, and then he just like he won't reply, and he'll just look at me.
Bro, I'm not even gonna lie. He has got a very stern side to him, and he's got a very jokeable side. And but I was like to Ali on that day, I was like, bro, you don't understand. Like, my dad is very close to me in age, bro. Like, my dad is like very close to me in age, so I could have that convo with my dad. With my mum, bro, I could go on. I went on holiday with my mum. I've been on holiday with my mum, just me and her. We went to Dubai fairly recently, and I could do that and chill with my mum. I could go cafe. Sometimes my mum, we'll go and we'll get an afternoon tea in a cafe.
That's lovely, man.
And I could do that, and I could and I know you can do that with your mum as well, because I've met your mum, mashallah, and stuff like that.
When did you meet my mum? Was it at the Convencia event, maybe?
No. Multiple occasions. Convencia event, maybe. I came to your house once. Okay. Remember we filmed that podcast? We actually filmed a podcast before, me and Faisal.
Bro, imagine if we put that out.
Bro, I think we would both regret.
Yeah, a lot of regret.
It was really inappropriate. We were talking about... Should I say what
basically, what it was is that Musa was looking at our book collection, and I had a book that was called something like...
Oh my God. And you actually said you'd give it to me after you read it?
Yeah, it's called like sexual relationships in Islam or something. It's basically like the Islamic
It's like a couple of years ago.
Yeah, but do you know what? Actually, bro, someone actually gifted me that book as well. Again, so I already had that book, and someone gifted it to me on my wedding, and it was really awkward because like they gifted me like this gift bag, and it's like those books, one of those like sexual intimacy and stuff. But basically, yeah, it was basically saying like the do's and don'ts, that kind of stuff, from an Islamic perspective. And me and Musa found it quite amusing. We were looking through it. We were like, let's just like review the book on a podcast. And so we just like reviewed the book on our episode, but we never put that episode out. And this is back when I had the next phase. Let me just sort my camera
I
out.
think you were newly married then.
Yeah. No, I wasn't married. I don't think. Well, I was, but I wasn't anymore. But,
Well, so you weren't. Wait. So you weren't even married and you were reading that.
no, do you know what it was, bro? You know when you're new to Deen, but everything seems like...
You know, Ajmal. Okay, I'm not gonna beat him up. Yeah.
Do you know that when you're new to the Deen, you realise that the Deen has an answer for everything, and so you just think, wow, like, what does Deen say about this? What does Deen say about that? And I think I was in the Islamic bookstore once and I saw it, and I was like, and
awkward bye.
but that's what the podcast is something different without. Bro, have you met my dad before?
Yes, I have.
You have, yeah.
I actually.
When did you meet my dad?
Is it public what your dad does?
Yeah, my dad, he has a shop he has like a like a fake jewelry shop, not real jewelry, but like Claire's accessories, but for...
So me and my wife, before I knew you, actually got...
her wedding jewelry.
My wife's wedding jewelry, the fake stuff that girls wear.
Yeah.
From that shop.
Yeah. I think you told me that.
Well, sorry, when I say fake stuff, I just realised I can come across as offensive.
No,
You know what I mean?
it's
Like
artificial jewelry.
Artificial jewelry.
It's good. Do you know what? It's good that I tell people that. It's good that I tell people that, because otherwise, like, people are gonna hear my dad has a jewelry shop. They can start robbing the place. It's not. He is all artificial jewelry. I try and explain it like it's like Claire's accessories for Asians.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's literally what it is. So it's like earrings.
So we went there.
Artificial
Funnily
jewelry.
enough, because I came there once to see you. We filmed something in there. Filmed something downstairs. What did we film?
We filmed your emotional interview.
And you didn't release it.
I did. You got a lot of views, bro. I released all my emotional interviews. I deleted them all.
Oh, you done an emotional interview with me?
Bro, yeah, and it got a lot of views. Remember the whole interview
Can't
was like...
remember that.
The whole interview was like, oh, I'm here with... like, one of my favourite people in the world. I think he's so knowledgeable. I love him so much. And I'm here with his son, Musa Adnan. And that's how I introed it, remember?
Yeah, that was jokes. Those jokes.
Yeah, so no, it was nice. Bro, just because we're rounding up the podcast now, I just want to say... it's been absolutely pleasure having you on. And
I hope even if one person benefits.
Bro, I think a lot of people benefit. I think a lot of people will see the side to Musa that people haven't seen before, and they'll have a lot more love and respect for you and that kind of stuff. And also,
yes,
you've been a friend of mine since I started Freshly. As people just heard, we did an episode of The Next Phase together, which means that, you know, you've been a friend of mine since before Freshly Grounded, and it's taken for me to do 72 episodes for me to then have you on. And and one thing I admire about you, bro, is you never, I don't know if you ever wanted to do an episode or not, but you never...
I actually did.
But you never approached me and said, I want to do an episode. And I love that about you, because I think that what that showed me is that you had a love and trust of me, that you were just like, if he asks me, and I'm there for him, and if he doesn't, he doesn't. I also, perhaps the thing that he's going for, it's not suited for what I'm doing right now, and I'm okay with that too. That's I don't know if that's what you were thinking, but that's what came across.
Well, what I thought is, I was just thinking, yeah, I'd really like to do this. Let's give it time.
Yeah, and the reason, and there's loads of other people who I know, who I might have on in the future, who I just haven't had on yet, like, and who I know will maybe like make for like good or controversial episodes, like Ali, like Imran, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
And there's a whole bunch of people that I haven't had on, and the reason I want to be very structural with how I have people on the right time, and the reason I feel like now is the best time to have you on is because I've seen in recent times you made such a big transition from YouTube to TV presenting and to all this kind of stuff.
I'm really happy it's noticeable though, because I've actually tried to make it noticeable, you know,
because I don't want to for example I did an episode of Freshly Grounded with Omar, and I think Sam really wanted to make that episode happen and stuff. And the reason I struggled with that episode is because I love Omar so much, but I spend so much time with him and I know so much about him that it's very hard for me to sit down and do an episode with him, because anything I ask him, I know the answer already. And so I didn't want to do an episode like that with you, because... do
you consult Sam before you get people on? Does it work like that?
Yeah, but in recent times, because... he hasn't been here for a while. I've just been getting guests on, like,
okay.
So, but normally,
Okay.
But like when we do episodes together,
And how soon in advance do you plan episodes?
sometimes it's the day before.
Bruh.
Yeah, sometimes. But it's
Okay.
very difficult to get. But then others, like for example, I've had plans to have certain guests on that I've been speaking to for a while, and they still haven't come to fruition. So, that's just how it is, isn't it? It just is what it is, bro. This is one of the rare episodes where we started at 0 minutes and gone to almost 2 hours, 1 hour and 45 minutes.
What time is it?
We've been speaking for about an hour and 45 minutes. Yeah,
It's 12 o'clock.
this is one of the few episodes that we've done that and done it all in one take. Normally,
What are you doing after?
I have to edit this and I've got feed source work to do.
Okay.
Yeah, I might even have to travel to meet Omar in London and do some feed source work with him. So, but I need to edit Freshly Grounded first, or but yeah, because normally we'll take like a break to like go toilet or like we'd have to cut things out. So
Really?
yeah. Normally it's hard to do a whole 2 hours. I'm actually desperate for toilet right now.
Okay, I'm cool.
Anyway, I just did you see how large my coffee was?
Yeah.
That's like
big,
4
man.
shots, bro.
You had 4 shots?
That's like 4 shots in there. I
Bro,
think.
how do you sleep at night?
Well, obviously, bro, it's like 12 o'clock in the afternoon right
Yeah,
now.
no, but bro, for me, that might last till the evening.
Bro,
man.
with me, sometimes I have a coffee, and like depending on the intention of the coffee, it is what it is for me. So like if I
Don't
have a
you need
coffee,
to go toilet from it, because me, bro,
Yeah.
I need to go toilet after I have coffee.
yeah, definitely, bro, it does
Mashes me
madness.
up.
Yeah, definitely.
But I love it.
But if sometimes I can have a coffee just before bed to like soothe me,
Soothe you.
yeah, into bed. I don't know why.
Wait. Pause.
I don't like.
You have a coffee before bed.
Sometimes I can have a coffee before bed because it's like a nice hot drink before bed, and
Bro,
I can
what
go
are you talking about,
sleep.
a nice hot drink. How he's got full of caffeine? How are you gonna sleep? So you're
dunno.
not that sensitive.
No, I'm very sensitive. Like when I have a coffee in the mornings, it really wakes me up. So I don't know how that works. I think a lot of it is mind over matter.
Do you think people watch like the whole listen to the whole podcast?
Bro, yeah, loads of people listen to podcasts. What are you trying to say?
No, I mean, no, I'm genuinely
joking.
asking
Yeah,
because
yeah,
me,
of
bro,
course.
I've never actually listened to one whole podcast ever in my life.
Really? I've listened
to loads,
Yeah.
but like
Bits,
10
yeah.
minutes, 15, 20 minutes. So there's a lot of people that listen to all of it.
Yeah, because bro, the
Awesome.
concept is that this is an episode is like around 2 hours long, and the next episode comes out in a week. So they have a whole week to listen to it. So imagine you travel. The average person commutes for an hour a day, right?
Yeah.
They go to work, it's a half an hour journey. They come back from work, it's another half an hour.
Yeah.
So imagine if you just listen to half an hour a day. In 4 days, you'll be finished, and every 7 days there's a new episode. So
Wow, that's good, man.
yeah.
Allahumma barik. Cool,
Bro,
man.
Jazakallah khair for coming on.
Barakallahu feek. I loved it.
I loved having you on. Inshallah, you'll be back soon. And
So do you get people on again?
yeah, man. So we've had Hamza Zotis on twice. We've had Josh Lamonaco on twice. We've had. I plan to get Mohammed Hijab on soon, inshallah. I haven't actually asked him about that. But we've had Muslim Bilal on twice. Abu Bakr on twice. So yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. I love having people on a few
Okay.
times. We just don't discuss the same thing. I don't like often having people on and discussing their biography. I like to just have
I thought
chats with
that's
people.
what you do.
Nah.
Okay.
Some people have done that with, like, for example,
Tim Humble, you said you done
Tim
that.
Humble. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, you need to listen to Tim Humble episode.
Yeah, I need to watch that.
Oh,
Listen
actually,
to it.
I know that we are planning to round off, but one of the things that you mentioned, I wanted to mention that it reminded me of something Tim Humble said. So you said that you said something inappropriate in front of your dad, and your dad laughed, and that reminded me of something that Tim Humble said, and he said that you have to obey your parents, yeah? Along the lines, I don't want to quote him, but he said something like, you have to obey your parents. But one thing that we don't understand is that you also, that becomes, because sometimes people find it hard because they can't say no to their parents, but it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I can't say no to them, but my parents being really difficult. And what Tim Humble said is, he said that what you have to understand is that you should build a good relationship with your parents. Because if you could build a good relationship with your parents, and your parents ask you to do something, and you can say to them, is it okay if I do this later because of this? And they say, yeah, that's completely fine. Then you haven't disrespected them because you have a good relationship with them and you had a discourse.
Allahu Akbar.
So that
that's
was
a very
something-
good point. That's a
yeah,
nice
so
point.
we should actually try and build a good relationship with our parents so that we don't get the sin of disobeying them, because we can actually just have a chat with them. Musa Adnan, thank you very much. This was episode 72 of Freshly Grounded. Barakallahu feek coming for
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah,
If you listen to it this far, can you DM me on Instagram and let me know what you thought of it, inshallah.
inshallah. With that being said, guys, this was episode 72 of Musa Adnan. I've been Faisal Chowdhury. We out of here, baby.